ready? This is, okay. Welcome everybody, David Wolfe here. I'm at Can Alt Laboratories just north of Toronto. I'm with my friend Ramiz. You may know of Ramiz. This guy's got a reputation all over the world. His research on the mineral content of chaga mushroom has literally become world famous. That's how we met, actually. We had a mutual friend, and she put us together. Taylor, thank you, Taylor. She put us together and said, "You've got to meet this guy. He's right on track with this whole chaga thing." And one of the things that Ramiz has discovered in his laboratory work is that chaga is very unusually rich in certain minerals. And so why don't we start there? Ramiz, tell us what you found out.
See, when I analyzed chaga, I was in One Health show and I picked up chaga. I went right away to the lab and I digested and I ran it with this machine. This machine called inductive coupled plasma mass spectrometer, which can really detect from lithium to uranium.
Wow.
Lithium number 7, uranium number 238.
Wow.
It makes them put like the lower at the beginning, the higher at the end. Then you can go lithium, like carbon, 12, like, and
all
so on. All the way up to uranium 238. Then you can detect all the periodic table with this machine.
Okay, cool.
Which I did that, which one day I did 105 elements in one shot.
In one shot, wow.
Correct.
With chaga?
Or with the chaga.
With the chaga. And what did you find?
What did I find? I was comparing chaga with other food, and to see. Chaga came first. You will love this one. Chocolate came second.
What? This is what Ramiz says to me every time I see him. He says this: the machine doesn't lie. So chaga was first, and chocolate
was
second in mineral content.
Correct.
And some of the interesting. Tell us what kind of minerals you're seeing here.
Like, I have in the lab maybe like 600 of all the healthy food. And I put them in one by one. And starting from avocado, beet juice, all kind of fruit and vegetables, and to see what kind of mineral, because I am a mineral specialist for 32 years, And what I found out that really the good food, it has very, very high of cesium, rubidium, and potassium.
Cesium, rubidium, and potassium.
Exactly.
That's worth mentioning. Here's some of your notes. That's worth mentioning because these are very alkaline minerals,
Correct.
right? So we hear about this acidity and alkalinity and acidity is associated with cancer and immune system problems and metabolic problems. So what you're saying is that chaga is really probably the richest, I think it is the richest source of these alkaline minerals, cesium, rubidium, and potassium.
I devoted my rest of the scientific life to chaga.
I mean, that's amazing. Now, I've seen the lab where Ramiz works, and just the logistics of the food that comes in to be tested and it going out, just that process, thousands of food products a day, was astounding. I mean, I don't think I've ever seen a logistics system like that ever in anything.
See, David, the problem nowadays is we have lots of sodium in our food. Mm-hmm. Most of our processed food, they add so much sodium to keep it in the shelf for a long time.
Yeah, such a preservative, essentially.
Preservative, and then the food does not get rotten, and then, then we don't know when they are going to sell. Then really the sodium is like 10,000 parts per million or 15,000 parts per million. It's so high. That depletes all your potassium level. Potassium is the key element for all the other minerals to enter inside the cell. Then if you have so much sodium and less potassium, the other mineral is not going to enter.
It's not going to enter,
cell.
right. Okay, yeah, that's important. So that's important. There's a balance between potassium and sodium.
Exactly.
And that took me a lot of years to find that out in the research on how you actually nourish a cell and detoxify a cell.
Exactly.
It has to do with sodium and potassium.
Exactly.
Okay, so keep going.
Yeah, your body cell is the most important thing. I think your cell is more important than your brain. Your brain is the cell of the body. Okay, if the cell is healthy, your brain is healthy. If the cell is not healthy, your brain is not healthy. What happens, there is 4 elements, which I call them the 4 saints, like east, west, south, north, which is sodium, potassium, calcium, and magnesium. You know, what happened is sodium and potassium, they work together. You know, and calcium and magnesium work together. Your heart will pump calcium, magnesium, calcium, magnesium. Then this is very essential. You know, like we know that magnesium is essential because it's part of your DNA.
It's part of your DNA.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and you mentioned to me before that zinc is also part of the DNA.
Zinc finger is a part of DNA.
So these are how critical. See, I think sometimes we hear about minerals, we think, oh, I'm going to take a mineral supplement. But really, I don't think we really relate it to, like, each one of our organs has different kinds of minerals. Our brain has different kinds of minerals. All our cells require certain minerals. Our muscles require all these minerals.
Exactly.
The heart, all of that. And just tell us, bring us a little bit deeper into, okay, so if we eat these foods with the right minerals in it, then what can it do for us? How can it benefit
It
us?
depends where you want to benefit. You know, there is food for your brain. There is food for your muscle. There is food for your heart. There is food for every function of your organs. That's why when you say, I want to be happy, go chocolate. You know that. You know, go banana. You know that. You know, you go walnut because of the boron in the walnut. Then there is specific food for each organs into your body. Like, you know, I have been working onto this for, like, you know, all my life. Then now I know which food is good for you.
Tell us a little bit about that, because there's folks right now watching and they're going, okay, I want to know there's people in New York right now going, just tell us what food we need to eat. Which foods do you really find, like, I remember you telling me about lithium and goji berries.
Exactly.
Right? Lithium, highest natural source, goji berries of anything in the world, and lithium is about being happy,
Exactly.
right? And alkaline. Tell us a few things like that.
It's very, very interesting when you look at the Chinese, and they used to name it like like in the name which Chinese came with, like lithiamic or something, which is associated with lithium. That's why when I analyzed it, I found lithium has 1 part per million, highest on the charts. You know, I said, how did they know a long time ago to call it that? You know,
Lyceum.
Lyceum.
Yeah,
Right.
there's a connection. Yeah.
Yeah. You know, did they know that it has contained lithium?
Or is it just a coincidence?
Oh, coincidence.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, like coincidence is good because I met you like September 11, and you wrote the book and get it September 11th, and today is September 11th.
So we met September 11th, 2010. The book that we wrote together, Chaga Came to Mr. Mushrooms, September 11th, 2011, and then here we are, September 11th, 2014. So this is a very valuable day for us, and what we really feel like this day should mean is about your health and getting the minerals that you need to be healthy. We're at CanAlt Labs, by the way, which you should look into, a hair mineral analysis here in Toronto, CanAltLabs.com. But before we get back into that, this whole thing about what's in the food is so fascinating because yes, you found out about chaga and cesium, rubidium, and potassium, but you also found out about zinc.
Correct.
Right? Chaga is extremely high in zinc.
Very high in zinc. Like the outside portion, which is the black, has 470 ppm zinc. Yeah, the inside
470 parts per million.
That's the highest. This is good for women, men, and you know, for prostate. It does not work without zinc. Mm-hmm. You know, and for women who wants to detoxify their body and they don't want to have too much wrinkles, I know that you have the wellness, symposium soon. You know, this is very, very key. You know, for women who wants to keep healthy and vibrant, you know, all the time, because zinc is one of the most important antioxidants, you know, element for the body.
I always think of zinc too as being able to displace out the toxic aluminum and the toxic arsenic and cadmium.
Correct.
Zinc and cadmium they fight each other.
Exactly.
Yeah.
See what happens? Zinc is very high in watermelon.
Okay.
As well. It's not as high as you need
As
to
chaga.
eat like tons of watermelon, but you know, watermelon has SOD enzyme. It's the same, the highest SOD enzyme in chaga, in a good chaga.
Wow.
Then you have to know, like, you know, is your chaga is good chaga or not good?
Yeah, and
Right, you know,
he
I
tests it
know,
all.
that's
Now,
right.
tell us what you found out about chaga. We're tested around the world. You've had samples coming from Poland, from Siberia, all over the place.
London,
What's
England.
London. What's the
Yeah,
best?
Yeah. I believe what's the best is Canadian chaga.
Canadian chaga.
Yeah, by far.
By far.
By far.
Canadian Shield
It
chaga.
seems like when the weather is under so much cold, the tree comes out and bring all the the best out of it.
Wow.
And that's why I bring it into the chaga mushroom. And that's why, and it's very, very interesting now. I'm researching something called gum arabic.
Gum arabic, yeah. Where's that come from?
Come from Sudan.
Okay, and
The best country.
is it a resin of a tree?
It's the resin of the tree,
Okay.
which it comes out the same as a chaga. But this comes in a heat of like plus 50 degree. But chaga comes
Minus 40.
Minus 40 degree. But the good things about the gum arabic, I'm trying to bring it into Canada here, the good one, which is a prebiotic.
It's a prebiotic.
Prebiotic. Which is good food for the bacteria in your gut.
How about that? That's a very important concept. We consist of a community of cells, right? We're not just us. We've got a whole bunch of bacteria living with us.
It's trillion cells. Like the research I'm working on a yeast to find out, what does the yeast, react to different foods.
So you're studying yeast. And this is, I'm not going to tell you what Ramiz is up to. He's giving me a little bit of a hint, but
Correct.
this is a very interesting science project. I mean, it's like, I see kind of Nobel Prize, I don't know, a little bit. I think it's that kind of research, though, and definitely can have it's very health oriented. So you will be hearing the results through me and Ramiz of that research as time goes on, because it's very much about your health.
Yeast is, if you look at yeast, in the last 10 years, 6 Nobel Prize winners took the discovery.
So I'm not too far off.
No,
not too far off.
no, I'm really down here, but I'm working with my daughter Megan, which is at University of Toronto, second degree. And we're studying different things, and I'm doing lots of research about yeast. The very interesting about yeast, it has 6,000 genes, same as human being.
Wow.
And these genes, when it goes bad, is the same as human beings.
Okay, so very important just about epigenetics, that like your genes are your genes, but your genes aren't like a blueprint that like is going to get followed. It's the conditions that the cell is under that turns some genes on and turns some genes off.
Exactly.
And we want all the good ones turned on and all the bad ones turned off. Is that kind of how it works?
My research is how to get the yeast cell completed.
Okay.
Nobody yet did that in the world.
So when you say completed, give us more about what you mean.
The cell cycle.
Yep.
The yeast always budding.
Yep.
Okay. When it bud, that means it keep growing.
Yeah. So it's cloning itself.
It's cloning itself.
Yeah.
What makes it do that is high sugar.
High sugar.
That's why sugar, when I tested in the lab, is empty food.
It's empty.
Empty.
No minerals at all.
Nothing.
Nothing.
Nothing. Sugar and salt, I believe, the most dangerous things we are ever facing in our life.
Wow. Now, when you say salt, are you talking about like table salt or?
Adding salt into our processed food,
Yeah,
or the hidden salt.
The hidden, yeah.
Look at anything like soft drink or anything, you see the salt very, very high. You see the sugar 40 gram, for a can.
1 cup, yeah, it's crazy.
It's crazy. Yeah. And that's what really happened. The cell is very crowded. Our cell is very crowded. That's why until now, for longevity, people who wants to live a good life is to cut down into calories. That's the only one which is really, known for human works is calorie restriction.
Yeah.
It's done on yeast, it's done on mice, it's done in monkeys, it's done in so many animals, worms, and and this is not me, this is Nobel Prize winner who say that, and has been tested and proven. Then really what happened is, and even inside the cell, there is a mitochondria, there is the ATP, there is there is lots.
There's a lot going on in there.
Lots of going on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so out of everything, because basically what we want, I would assume based on your research, is we want this big broad spectrum of minerals, right? And we don't want just all sugar or all salt.
No,
we want all those trace minerals really mean something.
When I started this project of hair analysis, I went to Egypt. I met somebody with diabetes. He was in a wheelchair. And luckily the barber came to him to cut his hair at the house. Then I said to the barber, keep me some of this hair. When I came to Canada and I digested, I ran it with this machine, and I found out he's all over, I called to tell them that he's so sick. They told me he died. Then I said, I'm diabetic too. Okay, I want to compare my hair to his hair. They analyzed my hair. I found out myself, it's not as bad. I have high iron.
But you were headed that way.
I was headed that way. That's why, I kept working out, and then I lost weight. I lost 60 pounds, and I saw all my elements get improved. I said, that's very interesting. Then I started collecting hair from 32 countries. 32 countries. From Bangladesh, I did that. We found high arsenic.
Yeah.
From 32 countries, Iraq found high uranium.
Uranium.
Mining Poland, I did here. We did from 32 countries. And then when we put the data together, it shows us a big, big trend.
I just want to mention this. We're at CanAlt Labs. It's CanAlt, C-A-N-A-L-T, labs.com here in Ontario, Canada. You can send samples in to here from all over the world. So if you are in Poland, or if you're watching from the UK right now, if you're watching from Australia, you want to get your hair analyzed by this man or his team, this is where you send it into. And then they give you a really nice report. And you can actually, if you want to save $30, put David Wolfe at the bottom, W-O-L-F-E, and they'll knock that price off for you guys. You're gonna hold that up for me?
Sure.
They're gonna do that for us. So you'll save $30 on that, $30 Canadian dollars. And okay, so tell us one more thing, and then we're gonna have to wrap it up here. Tell us one more thing you've really found out with all this.
Toxins is very, very important. Beethoven died of lead toxins.
Uh-huh.
Okay.
And he was deaf, right?
That's right.
Is that related?
I'm not sure about the death, but I know that he died because they took the hair after he died and they analyzed it. They found very high lead.
Wow.
That's right. Then hair is a tool which is 10 times, the amount of mineral than the blood.
Okay, so what's being pushed out into your hair every day is about 10 times what's normally in your blood.
Exactly.
Okay.
Then you can see the mineral as concentrated. Then what we did is we collected all the normals from around the world which people do hair analysis, and we found out that the normals are supposed to be, say, for healthy people, copper 12 to 35 ppm. Then whoever less than that is not normal, whoever higher than that is not normal. You do different things. Like say for example, copper. Lots of people, they tell me how to get copper. I tell them you eat pistachio, because pistachio has a high copper.
Wow.
That green things in food.
That little green thing, that's the copper.
And pistachio, that's a copper.
That's a copper.
That's why pistachio is very, very healthy for you, because copper is, a little bit of copper is healthy for you.
Yeah.
All my study is how you like how to give the right food for people, because you can detoxify yourself. I had so much lead in my body.
You had high lead?
Because I used to smoke.
Okay.
In Egypt, I used to smoke, and there was lots of lead, and that's why I increased my calcium level.
Uh-huh.
Because calcium and lead work together.
They fight each other. 5
elements work together, which is very essential. Calcium and lead,
okay.
Mercury and selenium,
okay.
Arsenic and
zinc,
zinc and aluminum and zinc and magnesium.
Okay.
They work together. Cadmium and zinc, they work together as well. Then this is very, very essential.
So let me clarify that for everybody, because what you're saying is if you have high lead, you want to take in more calcium to drive the lead out.
Exactly.
Let's say let's go to mercury. If you have high mercury, use selenium to get the mercury out.
Correct.
And then with cadmium, use zinc to get that out. And same is true, zinc is also effective against, what else? Aluminum and arsenic to some degree. Okay, exactly. That's what he's saying here.
Yeah.
Okay.
Zinc is a master element. The body cannot magnesium too, is a master element.
Master element, big one. So magnesium and zinc are big.
See, all the elements is very important. Blood does not work without iron. Vitamin B12 does not work without cobalt. Your bone does not work without calcium. That's why the spark plug of the body is minerals. You have to get out the toxins and you have to get in the good one. That's why juicing and what you do, you know, you were saying how to use, like, you know, like I took all the skin of all this food and I analyzed it and I found all this, like, you know, alkaline element and all this benefit.
It's in the skins.
It's in the skin.
It's in the skin of the food. And this, we were talking about this with Pierre.
Kiwi is the highest.
In the skin.
In the skin. But you have to have it organic.
Right, yeah.
That's it.
Yeah, obviously anything we're into, Ramiz and I and our whole team here,
Okay.
it's all about being organic. Now, let's just close it on this point. Because of all the research now, you're starting to get population studies. You're starting to be able to look at you love to do this anyway.
Exactly.
When I come into your office,
Exactly.
you're always got populations there.
Exactly.
Look at these 120 samples.
Exactly.
What are some of the key things that we have to really be aware of right now, based on what you're seeing showing up in people's hair? What can we do to protect ourselves?
The most important thing that, you know, the body does not, you know, have too much iron.
Mm-hmm.
Because really what happened is iron is the key element which carry oxygen.
Iron.
Iron.
Yeah.
Which carry oxygen to the old organs. Then,
Which is good for you, and it hurts you if it's too much.
exactly. That's
Yeah.
why was like, you know, was gives this message to all the women for woman wellness. You know.
Yeah.
Very important after 40 is to keep this iron level, because after the period, you know, like after the cycle,
Yeah.
you know, they are not, you know,
You're not secreting iron anymore.
secreting
Yeah.
iron anymore. Then the oxidative stress will be higher.
Will be higher.
You know, that's why it's very, very important, like, you know, like to, like, say, drink green tea or, like, you know, like anything which curcumin, which is curry,
Yeah.
you know. And that's why the Indian is very smart when they put, like, masala and curry with the chickpeas. Because all chickpeas and masala are very, very, like, you know, nutrition and healthy. Because molybdenum is in chickpeas.
So that's something that's very interesting about chickpea. It's the highest in molybdenum of
Exactly.
anything.
Exactly.
So what does molybdenum do now?
Molybdenum activates 25 enzymes in the body.
Okay.
It's very rare to find it in food. You find it in beans.
In beans. Okay. So there are certain things in beans that show up that are not very prevalent, I think, out there. One of them also is manganese.
Correct.
Manganese is very prevalent in beans.
Correct.
Okay, interesting. Anyway, we're running short on time here. I want to thank. This is Ramiz Saad, actually happy, and we're happy to have him. We're at Canalt Labs, canaltlabs.com up here in Ontario. They do hair mineral analysis. You definitely want to check out what this guy has to say and what his research through this machine can do for your hair, and also to just get a little bit more background about the importance of minerals for nutrition. And that's what you'll get with your hair analysis. You'll get a little sheet that gives you a background of each mineral. So it's kind of a little study project.
I'd like to thank you, David, for all the good work you've done to humanity. Really, like, you know, so many times I attend your lectures, very great lectures. And, you know, thanks very much.
Right on. Thank you, Ramiz. Pleasure.
Appreciate it.
We're signing off. Have the best day ever.